Hello, welcome back. We're ready for the July 6th lesson in A Course in Miracles workbook for students, which is lesson 186. Salvation of the world depends on me. Wow, that's a bold statement. Salvation of the world depends on me. We're going to be able to say that a little easier. All right? I want the peace of God was yesterday's lesson. Before we get into our lesson for today, let's just read just a little bit of yesterday's, just to take it with you. We'll need it for a firm foundation. Now, you probably were kind of saying, well, if I want the peace of God, what do dreams have to do with it? Because remember, he told us he wanted us to look at our dreams and to basically let them go, replace them with forgiveness. Oh, and so that's an important, we're going to build on that idea on this next lesson. But did you do the part where he said, today devote your practice periods to careful searching of your mind to find the dreams you cherish still? What do you ask for in your heart? Forget the words you use in making your requests. Consider but what you believe will comfort you and bring you happiness. But be you not dismayed by lingering illusions, for their form is not what matters now. Let not some dreams be more acceptable, reserving shame and secrecy for others. They are one. And being one question should be asked of all of them. Is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? Wow, so it doesn't matter what your dream is. It's replacing heaven and the peace of God. Why is that? Because you don't have to dream about who you really are. You're there. That's who you are. The peace of God is unshaken. And when you have a dream that's in conflict with God, it's a good thing you're shaking. Your peace is a little disrupted so that you can find your way home. Follow that peace. This is the choice you make. What's the choice? And being one question should be asked of all of them. Is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? This is the choice you make. Be not deceived that it is otherwise. No compromise is possible in this. You choose God's peace, or you've asked for dreams. Pretty simple, he says. And dreams will come as you requested them, yet will God's peace come just as certainly, and to remain with you forever. It will not be gone with every twist and turning of the road, to reappear unrecognized in forms which shift and change with every step you take. You want the peace of God, and so do all who seem to seek for dreams. For them as well as for yourself, you ask but this when you make this request with deep sincerity. Remember how you can't not have it if you ask with complete honesty, complete sincerity? For thus you reach to what they really want and join your own intent with what they seek above all things, perhaps unknown to them, but sure to you. You have been weak at times, uncertain in your purpose and unsure of what you wanted, where to look for it and where to turn for help in the attempt. Help has been given you, and would you not avail yourself of it by sharing it? So whenever we were uncertain, help always comes to us. Now we're going to let ourselves be used to help others to find their way, that we're sure that they're already supremely, exactly, perfectly where they are, and always in God's love and peace. No one who truly seeks the peace of God can fail to find it, for he merely asks that he deceive himself no longer by denying to himself what is God's will. Who can remain unsatisfied who asks for what he has already? Who could be unanswered who requests an answer which is his to give? The peace of God is yours. For you it was created, given you by its creator, and established as his own sent eternal gift. How can you fail when you but ask for what he wills for you? And how could your request be limited to you alone? We're all in this together. No gift of God can be unshared. It is this attribute that it cannot be unshared. It is this attribute that sets the gifts of God apart from every dream that ever seemed to take the place of truth. No one can lose and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but two unite. To take away is meaningless to him. And when it is as meaningless to you, you can be sure you share one will with him and he with you. And you will also know you share one will with all your brothers whose intent is yours. And it is this one intent we seek today. This one intent. Uniting our desires with the need of every heart, the call of every mind, the hope that lies beyond despair, the love attack would hide, the brotherhood that hate has sought to sever, but which still remains as God created it. The brotherhood is completely intact. With help like this beside us, can we fail today as we request the peace of God be given us? So be awake to the peace of God. Ask for it and let it come to you. All right, I'm sitting out here at my friend John's pool. We call it Magnolia Pool. There's a magnolia tree in the background. He's converted it from a pool that was using chlorine about 5 or so years ago to one that now just has plant life in it. And it's right here by this magnolia, so we call it Magnolia Pool. It's got plants and fish, and as long as they're healthy, we swim in it. Anyway, according to John, the magnolia tree, it's called Magnolia grandiflora. That's the scientific name. He says it has all kinds of calming effects on the adrenals in particular, but on the whole system. I looked this up on rxlist.com, and it says the bark and flower buds have been used for their calming effect. Digestive problems, weight loss, constipation, inflammation, anxiety, and stress is the calming effects. Depression, fever, headaches, stroke, and asthma. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And they grow nice here in the Ozarks. And they stay green year round, those big pretty leaves. Matter of fact, I've got one here to show you. I broke this off. It was kind of down in way. They make these big, after the flower, they have these great big white pretty flowers. They're real fragrant. And then they make these little seed heads that grow up like this, upright. And nice big kind of leathery green leaves. Anyway, the outer bark, I think, is the part that is most has whatever the usefulnesses are. And you know, whenever you use these plants, be sure you have someone that really knows their stuff helping you. This is just meant to be kind of an inspiration for you to study. Don't let it be that you take my words that I'm prescribing anything or telling you how they have to be used or should be used, or because I don't know. I'm learning with you all. So particularly if you're a young person, have somebody who's a parent or someone that is trustworthy to help you learn these things. Salvation of the world depends on me. Whoa, what a statement. Here is the statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Wow, here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own, but that which has been given you. It offers you acceptance of a part assigned to you without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role. It but acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world, restoring it to heaven's peace. Paragraph 2 in Lesson 186, Salvation of the world depends on me. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea to save the world. It's God's idea. Salvation of the world depends on me. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. All that we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. Self-deceiving arrogance. What is given us to do, we have the strength to do. What is given us to do, we have the strength to do. Our minds are suited perfectly to take the part assigned to us by one who knows us well, God. Of course he knows what we need to do. Just follow his guidance. That's why dreams aren't going to work for you, because you want to follow in the moment guidance instead of a plan that reaches into the future that you don't even know and don't know for sure if it's what you ought to be doing. If you need to make a plan, you'll be shown. In the present moment, you'll be shown. So we don't want to follow the dream world. We want the world of peace that opens up to us when we are willing to let every dream be placed on the altar of God. Give it to God. Paragraph 3. Today's idea may seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. Salvation of the world depends on me. That can seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust He holds in you, who are His Son. It does not ask that you be different in any way from what you are. What could humility request but this? And what could arrogance deny but this? Today we will not shrink from our assignment on the spacious grounds that modesty is outraged. It is pride that would deny the call of God Himself. 4. All false humility we lay aside today, that we may listen to God's voice reveal to us what He would have us do. We do not doubt our adequacy for the function He will offer us. We will be certain only that He knows our strength, our wisdom, and our holiness. And if He deems us worthy, so we are. So if God deems you worthy to be the Savior, the salvation of the world depends on you, well, then you must be worthy, is what He's saying. It is but arrogance that judges otherwise, that you're not worthy. That's arrogance. You're always able to do what God would have you do. And in order to have peace, we have to extend love, extend kindness, see on ourselves everywhere, and not let the dream rule our mind about how things should be in the conflict that clashing dreams bring. Paragraph 5. There is one way and only one to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. There is one way and only one to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. And what is it? Accept the plan you did not make instead. Judge not your value to it. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part and that the whole depends on you, be sure that it is so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them to experience which might affront their stance. Yet are you humble, free to hear the voice which tells them that they are, of what they are. I messed that sentence up. Let's read that again. Yet are the humble free to hear the voice which tells them what they are and what to do. So are we humble to hear God's voice tell us who we are and what to do? Paragraph 6. Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. It is this image which quails and retreats in terror as the voice for God assures you that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the holiness to go beyond all images. We can go beyond all the dreams, all the images. You are not weak as the image of yourself. As is the image of yourself, you're not weak. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy home of God. 7. All this the voice for God relates to you, and as He speaks, the image trembles and seeks to attack the thread it does not know, sensing its bases crumble. Let it go! Salvation of the world depends on you and not upon this little pile of dust. What can it tell the Holy Son of God? Why need He be concerned with it at all? Why be concerned about the little pile of dust? 8. And so we find our peace. We will accept the function God has given us, for all illusions rest upon the weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. Another function other than the one God gave us. Our self-made roles are shifting, and they seem to change from mourner to ecstatic bliss of loved and loving. We can laugh or weep and greet the day with welcome or with tears. Our very being seems to change as we experience 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise us high indeed, or dash us to the ground in hopelessness. 9. Is this the Son of God? Could He create such instability and call it Son? He who is changeless shares his attributes with creation. All the images his Son appears to make have no effect on what he is. They blow across his mind like wind-swept leaves that form a pattern an instant, break apart to group again, and scamper off. Or like mirages seen above a desert, rising from the dust. 10. These unsubstantial images will go and leave your mind unclouded and serene when you accept the function given you. The images you make give rise to but conflicting goals, impermanent and vague, uncertain and ambiguous. Who could be constant in his efforts or direct his energies and concentrated drive toward goals like these? The functions which the world esteems are so uncertain that they change 10 times an hour at their most secure. What hope of gain can rest on goals like this? 11. In lovely contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out clear and wholly unambiguous. There is no doubt of its validity. It comes from one who knows no error, and his voice is certain of his messages. They will not change nor be in conflict. That's why you can be at peace when you're following the true will, is because there will be no conflict. There will not be change nor be in conflict. All of them point to one goal, and one you can attain. Your plan may be impossible, but God's can never fail because He is its source. And your plan may not be too secure, but God's plan can't fail. So follow His plan, which is what you're doing anyway. Just be aware of it. Your source. And number 12, do as His voice directs. Okay, that's all we need to do is do as His voice directs. Don't get too caught up on what you think you need to go do in the future based on what you thought you did in the past. Let His voice direct you in the present moment. Be here now. And if it asks a thing of you that seems impossible, remember who it is that asks and who would make denial. Then consider this: which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for the Creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything? Let not its voice direct you. Hear instead a certain voice, which tells you of a function given you by your Creator, who remembers you and urges that you now remember Him. 13, next to last paragraph. His gentle voice is calling from the known to the unknowing. His gentle voice is calling from the known to the unknowing. He would comfort you, although He knows no sorrow. He would make a restitution, though He is complete. A gift to you, although He knows that you have everything already. So He's going to give you a gift even though He knows you have everything already. For love must give, and what is given in His name takes on the form most useful in the world of form. In the last paragraph, these are the forms which never can deceive, although they come from formlessness itself. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, as it is in heaven has no form. Yet what is needed here is given here as it is needed. Forgiveness, remember, recognizing what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred, looking beyond the appearances. This is how we find the peace and find our function and know what to do in every moment, because we're connected. What is needed here is given here as it is needed. In this form, you can fulfill your function even here, although what love will mean to you when formlessness has been restored to you is greater still. Salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. Such is your function here. So, salvation of the world depends on you to forgive, to look beyond the appearances and see the divine hand always in operation. So until tomorrow, practice well. Do your 15 minutes, hopefully, in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, at least 5 of quiet. And then hourly remember, salvation of the world depends on me.